This is my book about wind and coal energy resources. In these first couple pages, I talk about coal. So on this first page, what is coal typically used for? Coal is primarily used as a fuel to generate electrical power in the United States in coal-fired power plants. And in 2019, about 23% of all electricity in the United States was produced by coal-fired power plants, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. I'm not going to read all of the pages because it's just going to take too long. How would it mainly be defined today? It's a black or brownish sedimentary rock that can be burned for fuel and used to generate electricity, and it's mainly composed of carbon and hydrocarbons, which contain energy that can be released by combustion, and coal is the largest source of energy for producing electricity in the world and the most abundant fossil fuel in the United States. On this page, I talk about how it's formed. So it's basically formed when dead plant material is submerged in swampy environments, is subjected to force and heat and pressure for a long period of time. And coal itself has a great variation in its property, and it can be classified in four main types: lignite, subbituminous, bituminous, and anthracite. And these are in order of increased carbon and energy content. And sulfur is important to coal because sulfur has carbon and coal's in carbon, so the more sulfur, the higher the chance of coal. And so some uses for coal: power generation is its primary use for coal. Thermal coal is burned to create steam, and that powers turbines and generators to generate electricity. Also, it's used in metal production and cement production, and can also be used for heating and lighting for like towns and stuff. So most coal can be found in Asia, North America, some parts of Europe, and Australia. The shaded parts are where you can find them, so they're pretty spread out. Some of the pros of coal: it has three main advantages over other renewable and non-renewable energy resources. It's abundant, relatively inexpensive, and requires less capital expenditure to build a coal-fired power plant. Some of the cons: the main disadvantage to coal is its negative impact on the environment. Coal-fired power plants are a major source of air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. In addition to carbon monoxide and heavy metals like mercury, the use of charcoal releases sulfur dioxide, a harmful substance linked to acid rain. Also, coal mining destroys habitats and has other negative effects in the environment, such as water pollution from runoff. So chapter 2, the renewable resource wind. So wind turbines work on a simple principle. Instead of using electricity to generate wind like a fan, wind turbines use the wind to generate electricity. The wind turns the propeller-shaped blades of a turbine around a rotor, which turns a generator, which produces electricity. And wind flow and speeds vary all around the United States. But we humans use the wind flow or energy of movement for many purposes, like to fly a kite and generate electricity. So anything that moves has kinetic energy, and scientists and engineers are using the wind's kinetic energy to generate electricity. Wind energy or wind power is created using a wind turbine, a device that channels the power of wind to generate electricity. And the wind that blows the turbine, which are attracted to the rotor then spins a generator to create electricity. And there are two types of wind turbines: the horizontal one, the horizontal axis wind turbine, and the vertical axis wind turbine. There's noticeable differences. And so, what is the definition of wind energy? Wind power or wind energy is the use of wind to provide mechanical power through wind turbines to turn electric generators for electrical power. Wind power is a popular, sustainable, renewable energy source that has much smaller impact on the environment compared to burning fossil fuels. Alright, when mechanical energy enhances a unit by harnessing wind power, it may be called a windmill, wind pump, or wind charger. Wind energy can be used for anything from power on boats, battery charging, or electricity being used commercially. And some examples how wind energy can be used include generating electricity, milling grain, pumping water, powering cargo ships, sailing and windsurfing, land surfing, kiteboarding. This is kiteboarding and this is kite surfing. So electricity generated from wind, this is the 2013, so the darker, the more electricity. This is just in the United States. And so some of the pros: it's cost effective. And land-based utility scale wind is one of the lowest priced energy sources available today. When it creates jobs, the U.S. wind sector employs more than 100,000 workers, and wind turbine technician is one of the fastest growing American jobs. And according to the Wind Vision report, wind has the potential to support more than 600,000 jobs in manufacturing, installing, maintenance, and supporting services by 2050. It also enables U.S. industry growth and U.S. competitiveness. Some of the downsides, even though the cost of the wind power has decreased dramatically in the past several decades, wind projects must be able to compete economically with the lowest cost source of electricity, and some locations may not be windy enough to be cost competitive. Good land-based wind sites are often located in remote locations far from cities where the electricity is needed, and transmission line must be built to bring in electricity from the wind farm. However, building just a few already proposed transmission lines could significantly reduce the cost of expanding wind energy. And wind resource development might not be the most profitable use of land. Land suitable for wind turbine installation must be compete with alternate uses for the land, which might be more highly valued than the electricity generations. And turbines might also cause noise and aesthetic pollution. And I'm going to develop and proven solutions to reduce the impact of wind turbines in these species. Like all energy sources, wind projects can alter the habitat in which they are built, so that they can affect birds. Some birds fly through and ultimately die, which is very sad. But yep, that's the end of my book. Thank you.